how to shoot a wedding ceremony. Okay, this is not like how you should shoot a wedding ceremony, but it's my take on how I shoot a wedding ceremony. Maybe this is gonna help you shoot your wedding ceremony, because the ceremony is the most important part of the wedding. And when you miss the ceremony or when you don't capture it right, you're in trouble, man. Like, you're really in trouble. They book you for the wedding ceremony. So that's the most important part of the wedding, is the wedding ceremony. So I'm gonna give you a few tips on how I shoot a wedding ceremony. This guy right here, that's the officiant dude right here. And this is the groom. Is always on the left of the officiant, and the bride is on the right of the officiant with the bridesmaids and whatnot. So yeah. So when you're shooting a wedding ceremony, always well, let me tell you how I shoot a wedding ceremony. So when I'm shooting a wedding ceremony is I have a camera right here on the bottom, set up on the bottom right here. Let's say this is a one shooting. This is a one shooter. This is only one person, only one videographer shooting. This is not two people. This is only one person. So when I'm shooting I'm going to show you examples as well. So I have a camera set up right here. I have a camera set up right here. This camera mostly, this is a mobile camera that this is the camera I'm going to have. So I have this camera set up here. And I have another camera set up right here. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3 cameras. Okay, 1, 2, 3 cameras. And then what am I gonna do? Okay, pow, 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 pow. Okay, so let's say you have 3 cameras. I have like 5 cameras. So I have one camera set up right here. I have a camera set up right here. And I have a camera set up right here. So this camera is mainly just going to shoot the groom's reactions. So this camera should be at least zooming up to 200 or to 300, depending on what lens you put on it. But usually have a zoom right here to capture his face. So maybe like from the shoulders up, from like shoulders up or waist up, to capture the bride's reactions. I'm sorry, to capture the groom's reactions as the bride walks down the aisle. So that's this reason. That's this camera. This camera is this is only the groom's camera. So this is camera G, camera groom. Okay, and this is people walking down the aisle. So, and the bride, you want to get the back of the bride, the dress and everything. So actually, for that fact, I have another camera right here. This camera is usually a wide angle camera. Sometimes I do a GoPro down here. I put a GoPro right down here so it could capture a wide angle of when the bride's going to walk down. You know, I don't care about everybody else, but I just care about to get that shot of the bride walking down, which I mainly use for highlight videos. So I have a camera right here, which is like usually low. It's going to capture the bride walking down the aisle. So this is camera G. This is your mobile camera, and this is and this is the camera you're gonna. This camera right here is usually all right. Let's do this. So let's say the bride comes down from this side or that side. They come down and they walk up here. So when they walk up here, the reason why you want to have this camera right here is you want to zoom in like waist up to the bride and her dad walking down the aisle. So this is why you have this camera. And while the bride is walking down the aisle, you have this camera here that's going to show, you know, the dress and from a lower angle and stuff. And then this camera is going to be focusing on the groom's face only, you know. So you're going to be capturing the groom with this G camera. And this mobile camera, this is a camera where you can move it, you know. But when the ceremony starts, this camera will be right here, so you can capture as people walk down the aisle with this camera. So you stand here, so I'll stand there, and people walk down the aisle, and I capture them with this camera. And when the bride walks down, I'll also capture her with that camera. But sometimes what I do is I take this camera, I move it from here, and if the bride's coming from this side, I have that camera right here. So when I have it right here, I see her, so I could get that shot of her walking from wherever she's going to be coming from as she comes. So when she gets somewhere right here, I run around and I come here. I come there so I could get now them walking down. I get a wide angle shot first, and then as she gets like right here, midpoint, I zoom in to like waist up so I could get, if she starts crying or whatever, I'll zoom it even more to get her facial reactions, because those are the priceless moments at a wedding. Those are the shots you want to get. And this, meantime, the whole time is going to be getting the groom's reaction. So when she gets here, I zoom in to get that shot. So I'll pan with the bride as she walks down. So when the bride gets here with her dad, they'll probably be blocking this camera angle of mine here. So that's where I can probably use this angle right here, or I can just see what I can do with this camera. But mostly this camera now goes from right here, from my mobile camera, it backs up to right here, and it turns into the B camera, bride camera. So now I have the bride camera, which when the bride stands here, and the groom stands right there. So now this camera will be facing, this camera will be now capturing the reactions of the bride, and this camera will be capturing the reactions of the groom. And now this camera right here, I move it up. Now I'm going to leave that camera alone because it's on autofocus, so it's going to capture the bride's face. And I'll come to this camera and I'll move this camera up to maybe right here. So, and I'll put this camera as waist up, so it can be capturing waist up of the bride and the groom. That's what I do with this camera. I move it up here. So I'll leave that camera for the B. I'll leave this camera for the G, and this camera is going to be for capturing them here. And this is going to be a zoom lens on that camera as well. I usually put my Canon 70-200 IS on this to zoom waist up on the couple, so they could kiss or whatever. But if they're doing things like you know, the tying the knot, or maybe the sand thing where they put sand and stuff like that, that's where I'll go up to this camera and I'll get it, somehow try and get the whatever they're going to be doing with the sand, or I'll use this to, you know, focus on whatever they're going to be doing. But this camera right here can capture the rings, and it can capture, you know, any close-up things that's going to be happening around here. So the reason why you want to stay in the corners and far from this section here is because a wedding is meant to be a traditional thing, you know. A wedding is meant to be intimate. You know, you don't want to be right here with your camera, you know. You don't want to have a camera right here and a camera right here, you know, or a camera right here and a camera right here. You don't want to put your cameras there. Like this is their guests right here. These are their guests, okay? These are their guests that they invited to witness this special moment. So, you know, you don't want to get up too much in the action. You know, you don't want to stand here so everybody can notice you. You don't want to stand here or here, because the parents are usually going to be there, or their close members are going to be there. So you don't want to be, you know, right here to whereby those people can see you. So you need a zoom lens. You need something that's going to go to 200 or to 300, so you can be out of the action but still capture the moment. You can be right here but still capture the moment, you know. And professional wedding videographers always do that. You don't want to be up, you know, you don't want to be up there in the action. No, like you can be up in the action only when the bride is walking down, everybody's standing. The only reason why I go right here is because when this camera stays there, these people get up, everybody gets up for, well, here comes the bride and everything. They're gonna block this shot right here, and they might block this shot, maybe. But you gotta set it to where the G camera is not black, so you can capture this guy right here, his emotions. And if you're shooting with two people, if you have a second shooter, you put your second shooter on the groom's camera because you want to capture this guy's emotions. Hopefully he cries. You know, if he loves the girl enough, he's gonna cry. And if he's trying to be a G, he won't cry. But still, like, you know, you want to capture the emotions. They paid for you to capture these. They might not tell you, but it's a plus. Like when you capture him crying, your video goes from a 5 out of 10 to a 9 or 10 out of 10. So this is a very important camera. So that's my strategy, right? That's my strategy when I'm just shooting by myself. That's my strategy. So I put this camera here, move it up here to capture that, and this camera, the bride coming down, then I move it up there, and now I'm out of the people's view. You know, I'm not in the, I'm not in front of them. I'm not blocking I'm not blocking the little iPhone X's and iPhone whatever they got these days, because they think that, you know, they're gonna capture a better view than you because they got the iPhones and you know, Samsungs and whatever they got, Galaxies and shit. So always, that's the thing too. I have problems with. I put that in my contract with the brides. You know, I put that in my contract that if somebody's blocking my shot, it's not my fault. You know, so don't sue me if Uncle Leroy gets like you right here trying to capture the bride coming down the aisle, and Uncle Leroy gets right in front of your camera with his iPhone or his freaking chip flip phone or whatever and starts capturing the bride walking down. Like, dude, Uncle Leroy, sit down. They paid me to do this. Let me capture the bride walking down. I got a 4K camera, man. Let me capture this. Leroy, sit down right here, Uncle. Sit down right here and enjoy this moment, you know. Especially uncles and aunties and whoever, they want to get up there with their iPhones and thinking they're going to capture just so they can put it on Instagram, just so they can put it on Facebook, or this and that. Like, dude, I put that in my contract. Like, dude, if a shot is being blocked, you can't blame me because I set up my cameras to where I can capture it, and I always try. That's why I come up here, you know, so I can capture this. Like, this camera stays with me. Camera B, the bride, it stays with me when the bride is coming down. I come here, capture her coming down, or if she's coming from this side, I stay right here, capture her, and then I run wherever this way, and then capture her walking down there. So your Uncle Leroy right here, in case he's blocking you, you can move a little bit, or you can tap his shoulder and say, Uncle Leroy, move a little bit. Or your or Aunt, whatever, Aunt Nancy and stuff like that. So you gotta watch out for those, and you gotta put that in your contract. If Aunt Nancy or Uncle Leroy are blocking you, that's not your fault. You know, you were paid to capture this moment. So why are they getting up with their iPhones? You know, why are they getting up with their Galaxies and whatnots? You know, so let them sit down or let them step aside. I have the 4K camera or I have the 1080p recording, which is way better than whatever you're going to be using. So you sit down. Let me capture that. Okay, so that's my thing at the ceremony. That's my strategy. So I showed you my strategy on how I do it. So same thing. So this B camera right here, with me, it doesn't stay here. It's a mobile camera. I'm shooting by myself. So after, you know, they do all the foremost and I anticipate that they're about to do the kiss. I bring this camera this way. I go around and I bring it right here, or I go right here. That's the only time I go closer to the moment. You know, I go right there and I zoom in on them too, do the kiss, but also I gotta make sure that I have this camera capture that moment as well, and I have this camera capture that moment. So all these are backup cameras. You gotta have backup cameras at a ceremony, because in case one camera is being blocked, another camera is gonna, you know, you're gonna have the footage. So when they kiss and stuff like that, usually after the kiss is when they turn around and, you know, the officiant or whoever, the priest, tells the crowd, well, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time as husband and wife, I now introduce you to the bride and the groom, or whatever. They turn around and then they start walking down. So the reason why I bring this camera here is this camera usually is not on something. I don't have it on a stabilizer or something I can like easily control, because 70 to 200 is a huge lens. You don't want to carry that around. So the lens that's on this is also a zoom lens, but it's a lighter lens I have than this lens. So I start moving back with this camera. I start moving back as the bride is coming, as the groom, I'm sorry, as the couple is walking down. I back up with them. Back up with them, back up with them. If they're gonna go this way, I have to know where they have to go. So if they're gonna go this way, I back up this way, or I stay there and I tell them to kiss. And then right here, right around here, I tell them to kiss. But sometimes it depends on the tradition, or some religions, like they some people don't like doing that or whatever. So you need to know your couple beforehand to know if you can stop them here to kiss and stuff like that. um like that's one of my signature shots. I stop them right there and tell them to kiss. Or you tell them to slow down. Mostly you want to tell them to slow down before they get to the wedding. Like when they're walking down, some people just like running down the aisle. Ah, ah. Dude, slow down. Like get this moment. So have them walk slowly right here. Cheering, stuff like that. Have them walk slowly, and then when they get like halfway, or at least right around to where they're gonna turn, have them kiss each other. After they kiss each other, or do a dip, and then now you go with them. You back up as they back up, and that's that. That's how I shoot my ceremony. So let's say I go this way and the couple goes that way. Then you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna keep it steady and let them walk out. That's it. I'll finish it off with them walking out. And then this camera right here, usually I back it up to when I'm backing up, or when I anticipate they're about to come here, I back it up to whereby I'm not going to hit it when I'm going back this way. So I bring it right here so it can start capturing everybody else, the wedding party, the groom, the bridesmaids and groomsmen as they walking down, and the kids and stuff like that. As they walking down, this camera is going to capture that. But my biggest thing is I need to capture the people of the day, which is the bride and groom walk out, and then I capture the rest of that. But I don't really worry about that, especially for the highlights. I don't really worry about all this stuff. I worry about the bride and groom. So this looks messy right here, but you can go back from the start and see how we got to all this mess right here. So that's how I capture a wedding ceremony. So this is only if you're shooting one person. So if you want me to do when you're shooting two people, let me know in the comments. If you like how I do it, please give me a thumbs up, and I'll really appreciate the thumbs up. So give me that thumbs up. Give me that like right there, if you like my mess here on how I do it. But once you do this a couple times, you're gonna know how to do it. But again, one thing I gotta say is not every ceremony is gonna be the same. Some ceremonies are gonna be at the beach. For me, because I'm in Florida, some ceremonies are going to be on the beach. Some ceremonies are going to be in a church. Some ceremonies are going to be on the grass. Some ceremonies are going to be in a hall somewhere, in a hotel venue, stuff like that. So all ceremonies are different. So just just when you get to the ceremony, just look around and see how much space you have. Because some people don't even have space between the first chair and the officiant. It's like it's like right there. Like they'll fit. Like you're not gonna have space for you to put a camera here where you can see the bride, or So always, another thing I gotta tell you here is sometimes when the bride and groom gets here, the officiant, if it's not a professional officiant, they don't tell the people to sit down right away. Some people just start talking and go ahead talking and talking and talking, and people are standing, meaning they're blocking some of your cameras and stuff like that. So if you can, always tell the officiant. As soon as the bride and groom get here and you ask who gives this bride and blah blah blah, tell the people to sit down. Or as soon as they get there, tell the people to sit down, so my cameras can have a good view here, so we can continue with the ceremony. So another thing is, like, when the bride and groom get there, sometimes they don't look at each other. Sometimes they look towards the officiant. So when they're looking towards there, and let's say they do that for 10 minutes, you don't want to just capture the backs of their head. So this is where you move the bride camera to right here. This is going to be the groomsman here. You move it to somewhere here to where you can capture the bride's face, and then you move camera groom here to right here so you can capture the groom's face. Don't just leave your cameras capturing the backs of the heads of the people. You know, you want to capture, you're not going to get any reaction from the back of a person's head. So move that camera here. Don't be lazy. Move it right there. Capture that. You know, move it right there. Capture their faces. You know, this camera right here is going to be capturing everything. It's going to capture the person speaking, the officiant, Uncle Leroy, or the priest. So don't worry about that angle. Just worry about the bride and groom, because you want to capture their reaction. So that's another thing. That's another problem I had at weddings when I was first starting, and that's a problem that I always have. Sometimes they get here and they're looking towards the officiant here talking, instead of the officiant telling them right away to hold hands so they can look at each other. Because when they look at each other, your camera, right, you don't need to move this camera. You just have to kind of fix it to where it's focusing on the groom halfway up, and fix your B camera, your bride camera, to where it's focusing on the bride halfway up here, halfway up, so you can capture her reactions, okay? Her facial reactions, especially when she's reading what is that? What is that thing they read? Especially when she's reading her vows, what she wrote to the groom, and you need to capture the facial expressions, and just hope they cry, or he cries, or she cries. You know, because when they cry, that makes a beautiful highlight, like right there. You know, that bumps your video up. Just like I'm saying, every time tears drop at a wedding, your video goes up in emotion. So capture the faces. So always have a zoom lens on this camera and this camera and this camera. Always have a zoom lens on those cameras. Maybe this one just have a wide angle, not a zoom, just have a wide angle on this. So that way you can, you know, capture the whole thing. So you always want to have one where you capture that, and one way it's a wide angle. So the more cameras you have, I know the more editing you have to do, but trust me, the better you are, just in case something happens. And as far as audio, that's another video, but this video is just how I maneuver my cameras around the whole ceremony thing. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it's really helpful to you guys, because I wish I saw videos like this when I was first starting my wedding business. So please, guys, you know, give this a like if you like the video, if you like the information. And if there's something you would like to add, please, you know, just comment below and let me know what you would like to, what you would kind of advise me to do here. But this is how I work out my my wedding, if it's only me shooting, okay? And that's that. Yep. That's how I work it out right here. Thank you for watching, and make sure you subscribe to my channel. You know, subscribe. Wedding videography tips, guys. Subscribe to this channel. And I'm gonna have a special announcement later on, after a few videos, maybe 10 videos. There's something I'm working on for you guys. So for my subscribers. So I'm gonna announce that for my subscribers, and it's only gonna go, I'm only gonna have my subscribers watch it, because YouTube, you can set it to who you want to watch. So I'm gonna have my subscribers, I'm gonna be giving something to my subscribers. So you guys, please subscribe, and you're gonna love what I'm gonna be giving you guys for free. You don't have to pay nothing. So please subscribe and stay tuned. And if you have any comments on what kind of video you would like to see next, or topic and stuff like that, please feel free to leave me a comment, and I'll make a video about that. But I want to drop at least a video every week to help you guys. So these topics I'm doing are topics that I had questions on when I was first starting. So I hope it helps you, and it can also help you if you're still established and you just need more information, because I bench watch videos like this. So hopefully it adds value to your production. So thank you for watching. I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you for taking your time to watch, and especially if you've reached this stage to where you see my pillow, then I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, let me just get a kiss. Okay, that's it. I'm done here.